She laughed and pointed at the broken car. "If you fix this, I'll marry you." Everyone chuckled, everyone but him, because he wasn't just holding a wrench, he was holding a promise no one else could see. The keys clattered to the floor. They landed between dust and oil stains, just beside his boots. She stood tall, one eyebrow raised, arms crossed like she'd just delivered a punchline. "If you fix it," she said, voice light but pointed, "I'll marry you." Laughter followed like a reflex. The whole garage erupted. Nervous chuckles, coughs, grins that quickly faded when they noticed he hadn't moved. Marcus Shaw didn't laugh. He stared at the keys for a moment, then bent down, slow and deliberate, and picked them up. No smile, no frown. Just a small nod, like he'd accepted a contract no one else could see. He didn't look at her, didn't say a word. He just walked toward the car, and the laughter died behind him. The garage was old, worn, and filled with ghosts of engines. Long since silenced, rusted shelves held tools that had more personality than the men who used them. It smelled of motor oil, burned rubber, and something deeply human, like time had been soaked into the concrete floor. Marcus had worked here for 9 years. No one remembered exactly when he started, but the place didn't seem to breathe right without him. He was part of the walls, the one everyone respected but never quite understood. He didn't talk much, didn't boast. But he could bring an engine back from the dead using nothing more than instinct, stubbornness, and a wrench. They called him the Whisperer behind his back, not as a joke, but out of awe. Because he didn't fix cars. He read them, but Rachel, Davenport didn't know any of that. To her, he was just another mechanic, a man with dirty hands and nothing to lose. She stood near the door, phone in hand, face unreadable. Her white SUV had broken down outside of town, and someone had told her to come here. Said, if anyone can fix it, they can. She hadn't expected the place to look like this, or for the man fixing it to look like him. She was an engineer, herself. Formally trained, professionally polished, and used to sitting on panels, not hoods. She'd designed fuel systems for electric hybrids and spoke in technical jargon no one in this garage would understand. That's what made her joke sting so sharply. Not just what she said, but how she said it. Like she already knew he couldn't. Marcus opened the hood. Steam hissed upward, but he didn't flinch. He stared into the engine like a surgeon facing a difficult patient. Calm, measured, certain. He didn't pull out a manual. Didn't ask questions. He just began. Tension filled the garage. Mechanics who had laughed now watched in silence. Time slowed. The only sound was the soft click of tools, the hiss of coolant, the occasional grunt as Marcus reached deep into the heart of the machine. No wasted movement, no small talk. Because Marcus wasn't trying to impress anyone. He had fixed engines on roads pocked with craters from mortar blasts, in the desert, in the rain. Under pressure, most people couldn't survive. He'd served in the military. 8 years. Tactical mechanic, U.S. Army. He didn't carry a rifle. He carried torque wrenches, saved lives by keeping wheels moving. His hands had saved convoys. His silence had hidden grief. He had watched brothers die beside him. Had rapped their dog tags and grease rags and kept going, because stopping meant someone else wouldn't make it home. The Army gave him structure, but war took things it never returned. When he came back, he didn't ask for recognition. He just wanted peace. Wanted to disappear into a place where people didn't talk about sacrifice, only spark plugs and belts. This garage became that place. Until today. Rachel tapped her phone again. Still no signal. She sighed, then glanced at Marcus. He hadn't looked at her once. Hadn't asked her what happened. Hadn't needed to. She crossed her arms tighter. The engine had already been checked by 3 engineers from her company. None of them could figure out the issue. Some blamed the design. Others blamed faulty software. Rachel herself had inspected it. Twice. To her, this wasn't just a broken car. It was a reminder of failure, of frustration, of something she couldn't control. But now, this quiet man with tired eyes and oil-streaked hands was doing what no one else could, and doing it silently. An hour passed, then two. Marcus replaced. Two components she hadn't even thought to check. Rewired the ignition in a way that felt more like instinct than theory. He worked like a man who didn't see pieces. He saw stories, and then, with no announcement, no warning, he turned the key. The engine started, not with a struggle, not with a stutter, with a purr. A perfect, clean hum. The kind of sound engineers chase for years. Rachel froze. Her breath caught in her throat. She looked around. No one said anything. The mechanics just stared. Marcus stepped away, wiped his hands on a rag, and walked to the front counter. He placed the keys there, gently, like they were made of glass, then looked at her. Just once. A small nod, and then he turned and walked back, to the corner of the garage, like nothing happened. He never said a word, never reminded her of what she'd promised, never asked her what she meant. But the entire garage remembered. The man who said nothing had done the impossible, and the woman who had laughed stood in silence. Rachel walked over to the keys, picked them up slowly. Her fingers trembled. She opened her mouth, but the words didn't come, because nothing she could say would feel right. She walked to the car, sat inside, turned the engine again, smooth, responsive, alive. Her reflection stared back at her in the mirror, and behind it, Marcus, wiping down his workbench like the moment never happened. She didn't marry him, but she never forgot him. And every time she turned that key afterward, she remembered the man who fixed more than just the engine. He repaired the way she saw people. He didn't speak much, but when he worked, the world listened. Respect doesn't wear a suit. Sometimes it wears silence. He wasn't fixing a car. He was restoring something she didn't know she'd lost: humility. Months later, Rachel returned to the garage, quietly. No SUV this time. No laughter. She brought coffee. 2 cups, one she placed at the counter. The other she set by his bench. Marcus looked up, met her eyes, just for a moment, and nodded. Nothing more was needed, because in a world full of noise, some stories are told best through silence. Some people shout to prove themselves. Others don't need to. If this story moved you, share where you're watching from in the comments, and subscribe for more real emotional stories about strength, silence, and the quiet dignity of those who rise without recognition.